Hello and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton. And today we're going to introduce you to some fabulous coffee and the entrepreneur who runs the coffee bar. Her name is Veronica Davis. Welcome.
Hey, how are you doing? Thank you for having me.
It's wonderful because there's, okay, I'm going to use that, but there's buzz around your new coffee bar.
Yes.
And you're fairly recently open,
Yes.
but I'm hearing a lot of people talk about it.
Yes, thank you. That's good to hear. I don't know what to say. I'm happy about the responses that we're getting back. We really needed some fast forward coffee. And when people go online to the site, there's this little story about the barista who's me, okay? And it talks about how, in the morning I would smell the coffee that really woke you up. And my grandmother and my granddad, they would sit before leaving to go to work and they would enjoy a cup of coffee and talk to each other. And at my age, who does that, Oh,
everyone. That is exactly what happens.
And so now, in today's time, there's not a lot of time for sitting and chatting and enjoying a cup of coffee in the morning. And it's because, do we have that variety there? Do we have that wanting to sit and just enjoy a variety of flavors?
You have to make the time, too.
You do. You really do. And what's interesting, people say, well, are you a coffee connoisseur? I'm not, But in the mornings, I would go to Sentara and I would get breakfast. And there was this little coffee shop there. And I walked over one day and they had all of these coffee pots lined up. And I never knew that there were so many different coffees. And so I would try a different one every day. And there'd be a nice young lady there. Her name was Kat. And she would draw faces on your cup. And if you were having the worst possible time in your life, you walk in there and she knew how to make it better. And so the cup of coffee meant a lot, but they disappeared. And we were back to just one type of coffee and maybe putting some syrups in. And so when I saw that little area was vacant, I said, we need a coffee bar. That's what we need. And here I am.
So you really almost started with the location and the idea kind of simultaneously. It's not like, I want to start a coffee bar, where should I put it? Oh, Sentara. It was integral. The site was integral to
It had to be there because when that when the new hospital opened, the coffee shop was there, okay? And so it became the heart of the hospital. And we needed that back. We needed that place that we could go to grab that cup of coffee, to kick us up, to be able to take on the next 8 hours of the day, or just something that we could sit down and just relax to. I mean, the variety was there.
So did you work at Sentara? Did you drop by? I mean, what is your connection to the hospital before you opened the coffee bar?
Well, that would be even more interesting. Believe it or not, I'm also an author and a historian, national author and historian. Mm-hmm. But, I like to tell people we all have our different dramas throughout life. And so at this particular time, I was expecting my second child. I'm a single parent, and I did not have much to eat. Okay, and so I would go to the hospital for a parenting class, and they offered food from the cafeteria. I was like, hospital food for real?
It's good.
Yes.
No, right?
And it turned out to be good. Who would have guessed? And it was free. So I would take some for the portion that we were there and save the rest for the next day. Okay, and then I would go do my little subbing jobs, come home, do the same thing. But that's how I got to go to the hospital. It was inexpensive for us to be able to eat there without having to go buy groceries that we probably wouldn't use everything for. And years and years, when we fell low on money, we go to the hospital. So I would like to say that it's funny because Sentara has been such a part of our lives for over 12 years now. So, and then to have them to give us the opportunity when no one would take a chance with me. This woman wants to open up a coffee shop, let's look at her credit history, let's look at this. No one would take a chance on me, but Sentara did.
Isn't that a wonderful story? Now, I've been really patient since we sat down here, but can I taste the coffee?
Yes, please.
I want you to tell me about what it is I'm going to drink.
Pull it over.
Was I about to miss? Nope.
Keep going.
Gotcha. So this is
This is Bourbon Truffle.
Bourbon on the job.
Yeah, remember the key thing here is that we want to take coffee in a different direction. Not just dump flavor into it, but we want to take time to roast the flavor into the green beans. Okay, so when I visited my roaster and I said, okay, I want to see how everything works, you know, and to see them say, well, Ms. Davis, you won't be able to see the whole process because we roast our beans for 48 to 72 hours. Okay, and so for our spirited blends, we use cognac, Hennessy, and for the bourbon, we just put it all into a big pot, just let it sit. Let it.
Wait, you use real bourbon?
Real bourbon.
Or real cognac?
Real cognac.
And so then the beans become infused.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And then after 48 to 72 hours, I prefer the 72, then we roast. And once we start that roasting process and the beans come out, it's funny because I had the footage for that I wanted you guys to see. I'm sorry I don't have it. But when you see those beans come out of that huge roaster and the aroma, that is what we are paramount for, is making sure that you get it fresh. So we don't have our stuff sitting on the shelves for 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 months. When you order it, you're getting it directly from that roaster.
How did you learn all this? Really and truly, this is a tremendous amount of knowledge. If, you know, coffee was special to you, but you weren't, you know, that coffee connoisseur. How did you go from kind of zero to entrepreneur that quickly? Well,
I will tell you that I'm from Hampton, and I graduated from Hampton University. I tell people, I laugh about it because I say, you know, I was a little kid running around on the campus. You see what I'm saying? But one thing that we learned at Hampton is that we had to be multi-skilled because we never knew the job that we went into. We never knew where it was going to end. So they said, you know, you get in there, you learn a lot of skills. And if the skill that you have and you have to pick up something else, you'd be very quick to learn. And so I have always followed that motto.
So you went out and found a roaster and they roast to your specifications. How did you develop? How many flavors do you have?
We have 145 different flavors.
No way. How? How do you go about developing them or testing them or deciding?
Well, unfortunately, the spirited blends, I don't drink alcohol, so it all tastes like Greek to me, okay?
Right,
so
and I'll tell you right now, I'm not a big fan of bourbon. And I don't like flavored coffees, okay? So I'm a tough customer.
Yes, exactly.
This is wonderful.
It is.
Oh, and I drink it usually with cream, so.
And that's
but
that's
I can
because
really taste complex flavors, and it's not overwhelmingly. Sometimes they taste cloying.
That's
or sweet.
correct, and leave an aftertaste. Not these coffees. And what we do is I have sampling parties. You know, I'll say, okay, come on, you know, let's try this. We have a new flavor that's coming out. It's Kenya. Matter of fact, it's not even a flavor. It's an actual coffee from Africa. And so we'll be having that blend for the month of February. We also have coming up in March, it'll be our Shamrock. I think there's a Shamrock flavored coffee. I can't remember what that one was. It's mixed with peppermint. For flu season, we have the hot toddy, and that's going to be your bourbon, your rum. And people say, well, wait a minute, Ms. Davis, is this real alcohol? We're at work. We're in the hospital.
Right.
You know, did you put alcohol in this coffee? No.
You put it in, but all the alcohol cooks out.
That's correct.
Sure, quickly.
That's correct.
When you're roasting it over that long a period of time and that kind of heat. It's gone quickly.
It's correct. So it's non-alcoholic, but that flavor is there, and that's for everything.
And it's a real flavor. It's not bourbon flavor. It is
actual bourbon.
It is the rum. So it takes that, fake out of it.
It does.
Now, you sell by the cup, and obviously you don't have 145 flavors out at once.
No.
You've got a selection each month.
Yes.
But you also retail.
Yes.
I see these cute little bags here. Let me just hold one up. These are lovely. This is the Bourbon Truffle, which I'm sampling right now.
Yes.
So if I like it, I don't have to drive to Sentara to get a cup all the time. I can make it right at home.
That's correct. So you just go onto our website. It's thecoffeebar.cafe.
Oh, sneaky.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I got that the day it came out. So I snatched it right on up. So it's the coffeebar.cafe. And as soon as you go there, it comes right up and you'll see all the different flavors. We have our fave flavors, our chocolates, and then of course the spirited blends.
What tips do you have for someone who's starting up a business? I mean, you went through some hurdles on financing or credit or backing. What did you learn that you would do differently next time?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you, the first thing you need to make sure you got a good relationship with family.
You need that support somewhere.
Oh yeah, because I'm telling you, I thank God every day. I'm the oldest of 21 kids. Yes,
whoa.
I am. And, my dad, having that many kids, he got to be well versed in a lot of businesses. And then just making sure that, when you're getting ready to fall, that you have that support there from your family to lift you up. That's first, okay? The second thing about business is that you do have to look at your credit. So for all of our young millennials that just think that it's ready and there and you can just use it to your limit, I would have to tell you the one thing that we were not taught, don't do that. Think about what you want to do in the future and make sure that you're watching your credit rating. And then I would say that the next thing is, you have Thomas Nelson, you have Hampton University, you have Old Dominion, you have CNU, you have William and Mary. All of these universities are right here, and St. Leo. They're right here in this area. Take a course in business, okay?
Did you do it?
I did. I took my introduction to business at Thomas Nelson. Okay, and he taught us how to do the business plan, how to have those meetings, what to expect. And then it's a lot of experiencing. I mean, I've had many businesses, okay? Matter of fact, I opened up a business in 2012 and that business is still going on. But I had never had a storefront. I never had the responsibility of unlocking the door, counting down the money, being responsible for these types of taxes that I'm responsible for. You'll have to make relationships with accountants, So these were the things that I was not expecting. But one thing that I knew, workforce development. Going back to Thomas Nelson and saying, this is what I need, knocking at the door over at Hampton University and saying, okay, I need some help. Is there somebody that can help me? Making the relationships. I'm very fortunate that I'm at the hospital because the person that they paired me with, they had owned a restaurant. And so they give me advice as well.
That's
yes.
wonderful.
They've seen me go from here and they want to make sure that I stay above. And Miss Rita Bunch, I never forget, she says, Mr. Davis, you're here serving our employees, so we want to help make you successful. And to hear someone tell you that it chokes me up even now.
So you had support at several different
levels, yes.
How long did it take from idea to implementation?
Oh my God, now. You quickly learn that people will say, did you just wake up one day and decide to do this? And you'll hear me say, yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so for me, implementation, idea to implementation didn't take that long. But for the next person, think it through. Okay, again, pull on those resources around you to help you get from point A to point B. I served as a librarian for I don't know how many years. So me being a librarian, I go right back into librarian mode and I know where to pull those answers from. Okay?
Oh, research. You're a yeah.
That's correct.
And methodical. To be a librarian, you have to
organized and methodical.
Used to processes, things like that.
That's true. That's true. So once you have met those things, having the support, building those relationships, pulling on those resources, then you're ready. You're saying, okay, I'm ready to turn the key, but there's one more step. One more step. The Hampton Roads Chamber of Commerce and the Peninsula Chamber of Commerce, having them there to help support you with your grand opening, answering questions, attending those committee meetings, having that support network there so that you can expand your business. Those are the things that I look forward to other people taking advantage of.
So when did you open at Sentara? We
opened May 17th, 2017.
When did you begin the website and the online retailing of coffee?
We started Oh gosh, that's a good question. I think that had to have been maybe about June.
So you ramped that up pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I did the website myself. When you're doing it on your own, you have to cut back, overhead, everything. You have to look at everything. And so that was definitely one of the things that we looked at.
Do you have employees, or is it mostly you at this stage?
Well, we do have one employee, and she is a contract worker because we're such a small business, trying to pay all those federal taxes for employees is next to impossible, okay? So she comes in once a week. That allows me to go out and attend meetings, talk about our catering, talk about our coffee.
I thought you were going to say have a day off, but
no, there's no day off.
Not yet, okay.
No, only employees get days off, bosses don't. We're always working.
Well, is there anything I've forgotten to ask you about this that you want to share about your business?
Well, we do cater. That is something that we have opened up. We are available by phone, by internet, walk up to the counter. You do not have to be just visiting the hospital to come get a cup of coffee from us.
That's interesting because it is in a very business-friendly area. There are a lot of folks there. Obviously, you don't have the drive-through convenience, but just stopping at Sentara. But also, I'm going to go back to something you said at the very beginning about sitting and having a conversation, enjoying a cup of coffee. When you're working in a hospital, which is a high-stress environment, or when you're visiting a loved one, that's a high-stress situation too. You're dealing with illness. You're tired. It is more than coffee, right?
That's right. We do have originally it was going to be called a cup of coffee, but when I saw the location, I changed it to the coffee bar. And that's because people pull up that chair and they sit and they talk to me. And I sit and I listen to them. We talk politics, they talk business, they talk about the stories, they talk about Real Housewives. You do get a lot of conversation, and you do get the conversations, my loved one is here and this is what's going on. But the ones that I enjoy the most is when you hear the little chime and the person is coming down, oh, my wife has been up all night long. I need the coffee. The baby was just born,
Yeah, because it's intense.
It is.
The last thing you want is a bad cup. You need coffee, and the last thing you want is a bad cup that's bitter and been sitting there too long. And I've had several of those at various hospitals.
You won't have it at my site.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming by. This is wonderful.
Thank you.
I'm so happy.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for watching. I hope you will stop by the coffee bar at Sentara and taste some samples, and my guess is you'll be hooked and want to take some home as well. Also, learn a little bit about entrepreneurship. We try to share with you the stories of people who are starting businesses, what they faced, what they learned, because I think she's a wonderful inspiration for all of us. Thanks for watching.